Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dear Judy channel, Things My Mother Never Told Me. Today's topic is going to be a very interesting one. It always has been, hasn't it? So, in a sense, God versus aliens. That's what we're going to get into. But right now, we're going to discuss what we do know. Okay, so we do know that President Trump did invite many pastors to the White House somewhere around the beginning, first week of May, to prepare them and their ministries, their congregations, to the information that's going to be disclosed. So that made me very curious as to why they think that people need to hear it coming from religious leaders. My conclusion, and I always have an opinion on everything, obviously, is that they feel that this will interfere with people's religious beliefs. And it hasn't fazed me at all. And I will explain why. Okay, we're going to get into that. But I have a headline here from USA Herald that says multiple pastors, I'm sorry, pastors claim U.S. military intelligence officers secretly briefed them to prepare their congregations for UAP, UFO disclosure. So it doesn't say what they were told. They did not disclose what they were told. There was one pastor, however, Pastor Perry Stone, came out with a video. He has a very, very large ministry. And he stated a few things. You can go and look him up. It's not for me to put out what he had stated, but he did mention that they were briefed on things like that. So this is the subject we're going to get into today. First and foremost, if you are a religious person, which obviously I am, if you're not or always have been on the fence to being religious or even agnostic, you can go and watch my video, Proof That God Exists, with a picture. You can find that on the Dear Judy channel and pay very close attention to that because I do have some other videos coming out that I would like to share with you. Even being an old soul, which I had to mention to one of my followers that I would be doing a video on that. And we're going to get into that on another day. But when it comes to aliens, we have been from outer space, not the ones that came over the border. We have been told about aliens since I think the 50s. They showed a gentleman named Marcel something, or his last name was Marcel. He was first shown in the newspaper. There was a picture of him, if I remember correctly, holding a piece of supposedly a downed weather balloon. It was made of foil. It was the biggest piece of crap anybody could have ever taken a picture of. But when he first mentioned it, he came out and said there was a spaceship, there was an alien, and he saw it. But they made him come back and publicly announce that it wasn't. It was a weather balloon that came down, which looked like something somebody made in the third grade. So, that, made the rest of us who wanted to know, which a lot of people want to know, second guess as to why did that happen. And I believe because of the reaction to the public that people could not handle if there would be any type of extraterrestrial life. Whether there is or not, it's not for me to say. I do not want to share that with you as far as how I feel about it. I'm just going to give you the information, what I've gathered, and um, my opinion on it, not how I feel about it. Believe it or not, those are two different things. So let's start with how long we've known or been told that, you know, there was extraterrestrial life back in the 50s, something had crashed. That's been around for quite some time. So if we go back that far, how can I explain this? So if that's the case, they haven't bothered us. Now, some people will claim that they've been abducted and tests perform on them. I do know somebody that has happened to many a times, and I'm actually going to do a personal interview with that person. I'm going to write down all the questions and I'm going to read you the answers. I had already brought it up with that person, and that person does not want to be on camera or even the voice because they don't want to be recognized by anybody because they're afraid of the outcome of that. Nobody wants you to, nobody wants you thinking that you are not in your right mind, or people following you thinking that, oh, good, you know somebody who knows somebody. So, with that being said, let's get back to the subject at hand. Okay, so our world is safe from them, anyways. For us, from them, and from them, from us. Nothing has happened. They haven't invaded and taking over. People. Life has gone on since the 50s as normal. Okay, so if there are extraterrestrial life, and this is very important for anybody who feels that there is extraterrestrial life, excuse me, and has fear of it. If there is, I have no fear whatsoever because of my religious beliefs. My religious beliefs will always be. If you have any whatsoever, if you're a Christian, do not let anyone or anything ever persuade you that your religious beliefs are not true. So if you go back to even, Old Testament, God's been around a long time, longer than this earth. Okay. And so that's another subject I'm going to get into. We know that God, as far back as things have been written down, even on stone, that people believed that there is God. New Testament, he gave us Jesus. Okay. So if you have any religious beliefs whatsoever, have faith in God and have faith in Jesus that, they'll protect us. And that shouldn't even, that goes without saying. If you have any kind of ideas on bad things are going to happen, they would have already. Because if those beings do exist, they have technology well past ours. It's just been, back in the, I think it was the 60s when we first headed towards the moon. They've got technology that's been around, if it is real, for probably thousands of years. Who knows how long and from where they came from. Okay, so if that's the case, then they mean us no harm. That's number one that you really have to pay attention to. If they do exist, they mean us no harm because they would have already. Okay. Secondly, if they are a highly intellectual race, I would think that they wouldn't want to interfere with another race's development. I would think that would go without saying, and that might be the main reason why, if they do exist, why they haven't. That would be, in a sense, common sense, not to do that to another civilization. So, and again, I'm going back, I'm playing both sides just in case some people do feel that they do exist. So from what we've heard, let's go over what we've been hearing recently. There are 4 types now, not just the grays that we heard about. As we were growing up, my generation, there were the grays, the little grays, aliens. There are apparently 4. I did write them down. There are the grays, the reptilians, the insectoids, and the Nordics, which really cracked me up because they are described, the Nordics, are described as like kind of a Norwegian looking, 7 foot tall, blonde haired, unusual face, but human being looking like person, which I do find kind of amusing. So, but if you think about the movies that we've seen growing up and watched at the drive-in, you saw insectoids, you saw reptilians in all different types of sci-fi movies. So now we have 4. Who's to say? So I really truly want to say to everyone who has religious beliefs, don't ever let anything, even if they show you pictures, this is very important. Even if they show you pictures, we have pictures now, technology that can make anything look real. You've seen a lot of videos out there where Donald Trump is dancing with Elon Musk and they're, a lot thinner and doing the electric slide in some of it. But it's just technology, so maybe there is, someone else who really wants us on the darker side, wants us to lose our faith. Now, there's a thought. I'd lean more that way. And I'm not saying it's our president. He hasn't literally come out and said everything. He's just saying release the files. So whatever they are, if they're not satisfying you as to you wanting to see real life, extraterrestrial life out there, and you didn't get what you were looking for, just leave it be. Just leave it be. Maybe there's nothing to see here, or maybe nothing to see here, as the sleight of the hand would go back in the day. But, whatever it is, do not lose your soul and your beliefs because of what you see. We see so many things on the computer. You always see something bad. Not too often do you see anything good, happy things for whatever reason. Again, I mentioned it in another video. We're always drawn to trauma or disasters or whatever. That's what everybody clicks on. I think it goes again back what I had said before, back to our old survival instincts back in, a million years ago, and wanting to be able to survive and learn from disasters. But I really do feel that our government, if it is true, we're going to leave it at that. If it is true, they would let you know slowly. And why would they do that? Because some people, we do have, as I said, God created in one of my other videos, different types of people. And some of us are strong and we know who we are. And then some people are weak and we need to care for them. I did mention that, why God made us so different in one of my other videos, which you should go and watch that one as well. Okay. But um, if they're gonna explain anything, they're gonna do it very delicately, so they don't cause the weak people, um, you know, that could have a lot of problems with their own mental health. Okay, so with that being said, I do have to wonder why we're hearing that one, the deep state and the Democrats might be one and the same, don't want the information released. Now that's kind of funny that they don't, because I just find that they're more liberal with their ways and beliefs in everything in the world than conservative people are. And that leads more towards the Republicans to be extremely conservative. I'm an independent. And that's why I try to walk the middle line whenever I talk about anything or explain anything, because I like to hear all the facts before I make a decision on anything. But you know, I feel that some people are going to, and that might be the reason why President Trump wanted to speak to the religious leaders, because he doesn't want people to lose their faith in anything that's been disclosed or will be disclosed. So I think that when the time comes that the information will be released, I think that you should watch it first if you have young children and prepare them uh, for whatever the information is going to be. They seem to know things. Children and young adults seem to know things way before that we do. But I think that you should have one way or another your own opinion on everything for their sake growing up and not losing their religious beliefs. So when we go back to, if there is, let's go down the dark hole and say that there is other beings that we do not know about. Okay. If we go back to Old Testament, when God created the earth and created us within 6 days, and on the seventh day, it said he rested. That didn't take him very long, okay, to really, if you think about it. I can see why he needed to rest, but it didn't take him very long to create this world and living things on it. Okay. And so with that being said, if there is, and again, like I said, I walk the fine line to both sides. That's why I'm independent. I like to look at everything as a whole, as opposed to just one-sided or the other. So if God did do that, and he created the earth. And I know 100% God does exist. You go watch my video. I have some other videos. I didn't want to cram them all together. I wanted to, I like to talk about different things, but I do have more videos that I do need to share with you. And again, I think it's time for me to share these stories with you. And they are all true. But if God did, getting back to God, if he did create the earth, which we know that he did, in our hearts, we know we love God and we love Jesus, that this is going to be a funny statement, but I really want you to think about it. What did he do with the rest of his time? So we might be at our infancy of development compared to extraterrestrial beings, if they do exist. And again, I'm not saying that we are. I'm just giving you another outlook on things to really truly think about before you panic or make any decision that you'll lose your faith, which would be the worst thing that could ever happen to you, is for you to lose your faith. It should bring you closer to God, not away from God. So with that being said, if God only took 6 days to create this beautiful world, right, what did he do with all the other time that he had on his hands? Maybe in other universes or galaxies, he was already doing that. We're just anew at our infancy here. And so I would think that being God does exist, if there is extraterrestrial life, that they would also have to answer to him. They might be the ones watching over us to make sure that we don't blow ourselves up, or, trying to guide people to not make any fatal mistakes in this world that can cause destruction of the world. Who knows? We don't. Okay. You might have a guardian angel that has wings, comes from up above, that could be of something, of another origin. Definitely different than us. So again, I'm giving you both sides and some options to think about. But I do really, truly believe, one, that God does exist. Go watch my video. And again, I have more stories for you. So that goes without saying. Two, these are the facts. We know that God is all seeing, all powerful, and has the ability to create more universes, more worlds. So why wouldn't he do that somewhere else with something else? That's why I said God made us all so different. And if you go watch that video, why God made us all so different. We may kind of all look the same. We're all human, but he could have done the same thing somewhere else. All right. And I truly believe if he did, they are not allowed to do anything to this world because this is God's creation. We are God's creation, created in his image. Right. So please don't lose your faith. I do have more stories for you that I would like to share. So with that being said, I always have the tip of the day, and it's always a funny one. Got a tip of the day. So if you are afraid that there is other life out there, we've heard a lot and seen a lot on TV. Well, you might want to go and make yourselves one of these. There you go. I got mine. Go make yours. We've seen this on TV many a times, okay? The silver foiled hat, because it's been around for a long time. It's my point of showing you this. Nothing's happened in all these years, right? And I truly believe nothing is going to happen. Everyone will be safe. I 100% believe that because we are God's children. We learned that thousands of years ago now, didn't we? Go read the Old Testament. So with that being said, I'm going to say, please like, subscribe, share this video, especially if you think it's funny with my foot tap. And I will see you on the next Dear Judy, Things My Mother Never Told Me. Now that one is going to be a personal interview I am going to have with someone who had told me a long time ago that they were abducted from a young age and throughout their life. But they were able to ask questions. And this is with the Grays. So we're going to take that for what it's worth, question and answer. I think you're going to find that really interesting. If you know people that are into UFOs and aliens or really into this new stuff that came out with the president releasing the files, please share because you are going to um, hear a lot of different things that you would have never expected from why the Greys are abducting people and doing experiments. Okay, so I'll see you on the next Dear Judy. Things my mother never told me. Thank you. God bless you and help you find peace in your heart. He is always with you. Don't ever worry about anything if you have faith in God. Thank you again. I'll see you on the next Dear Judy.